I want to raise.
Rotary motto,
Service
service above self. Please stand, put your hand over your heart, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Slowly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we'll have a moment's silence. All right, well, welcome to Rotary, you Rotarians. Today, and we're going to bring, somehow Alan went away, but we're bringing David on now. Today is a free-for-all, otherwise known as a club assembly, where we try to get a little business done as we wind down the Rotary fiscal year. Would anybody, before I go through a few announcements that have to be addressed, like to say anything? Anybody got anything exciting, kind of pre-Happy Dollar excitement? Reggie.
Yes, I just want to invite everyone on the call and any of the Rotarians in our chapter that are perhaps not on the call to start thinking about new speakers for next fiscal year, starting July 1. We have a few for July, but we really want to fill up the calendar going forward. So we've had some great speakers over the last year, and we would like to continue that. Any help you can do, any help you can give me and Chuck, we would certainly appreciate it. So you can email me. You have my email address, or give me a call directly, either one. Thanks a lot, guys.
You bet. You heard that from our soon-to-be president-elect in his role. Hi, David.
Oh, hey, Bill. Hey, how are you, sir?
I said there was a little delay there. I thought maybe that. All right.
Hey, Reggie.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're the program guy, I think we used to publish in advance our speakers. I think if you can do that's a good idea. It lets people know who's going to be there. And as long as it's not me, they'll probably show up. So it just helps. It puts a little burden on the members to know if somebody's going to take the time to speak to us, we should show up, I think.
That's a good message to Chuck and Reggie, because I totally failed on that all year. And we always know, we know, hey, Chuck did such a great job. We were always booked about 6 weeks out. So we actually knew who was going to speak next week. And I remember we used to do that on your watch, John. So thanks for that suggestion. I think we ought to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandy.
Yo.
If you will, hum a few tunes of the raffle.
Hum a few tunes on the raffle. Well, we're getting close to the end, which is the good news. I think we either have or at least promised from all, but I think now 3 members return on the tickets. So we're in pretty good shape. We're working on the last couple, and I think we're going to hit the $11,000. Don't know for sure yet, but it looks pretty good. So now all we have to do is come to the 4th of July, have our raffle, and find out who the winner is. And interestingly enough, figure out how to get a golf cart to that winner. So we're in good shape. Everybody's pitching in, and that sounds pretty good.
Hopefully we get a winner who shows up and just drives it away.
I dream that every night.
Where and when on the 4th of July will the drawing be?
That's a real good question. Bill, do you know any more about the 4th of
Yeah,
July?
this is my thinking there is we get there real early and set up at the plaza. And, you know, it's first come, first serve. We have a permit for the parade and all that. So if we get there, Brandy, if you come by early, because that's a busy day with a lot of activities. Some of us wear more than one hat on 4th of July. We'll just claim that spot. Otherwise, somewhere in Cape Charles.
About what time?
That's Randy's decision.
Well, we're going to start early. We should get there at least by 9 o'clock. In fact,
I'd say earlier
maybe
than
earlier.
that.
We'll at least have the table claim. We'll claim our turf by 8 o'clock, let's say. And
Mm-hmm. I think 8 o'clock is a good time to plan.
I
What
don't
time
know
is the
whether there's-
drawing?
I don't know whether there's any other activity there at Strawberry Plaza. Aren't the food trucks and all down at the beach?
Yeah, they're all down at the beach and
And
near the love sign. Joan and Bill both asked, what time are you going to have the drawing?
Anybody know when the parade is scheduled?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
Yeah, it'll be over by 11.
And they usually have the MC at the gazebo on Bay Avenue with a microphone welcoming everyone as they go by. So if we do a drawing, you might want to send a note down to, usually it's been Trina Weber, but I don't know if it will be this year, and have them announce sometime during the day who the winner of the golf cart raffle was for the Rotary Club.
Or when it will be.
Good.
That too.
So Randy will come up with a time for.
I'm still hung up on whether Strawberry Plaza is the right place for us to be set up then.
I don't think, well, it's
Well, we
okay.
don't have unless we.
It's okay for the parade, but after the parade that goes down Mason, I think most of the activity is going to be on Bay.
Well, we do have a permission to be on Bay Avenue, but we weren't planning to have a canopy. Let me give Jen a call and ask her if it would be best if we just set up on Bay Avenue. That might be a better location.
All right.
There is a
let me know what
gazebo
you-
there.
Let me know what you find out, Bill, and then we'll
Okay.
we'll work it from there. We'll
I'll
set-
do that
set
this
the schedule.
afternoon.
There is a gazebo there on Bay Avenue.
Oh, yeah. That's what Joan was referring to, but I don't think we can set up in front of the gazebo.
There is a schedule of events for the first too. So you might want to look at that, and see how that plays into the drawing.
Yeah, I'll ask Jen to give us some advice. Okay, any other ideas or discussion on the drawing?
Randy, it's Mike. Were you planning on selling tickets that morning?
That was the plan.
Because you're going to get a lot of activity that morning.
Pardon me?
You're going to have a lot of people around there.
Yeah. I think we got to figure out what the schedule for the program at large is going to be, and figure out how we fit into that. But I think we're missing an opportunity if we don't sell tickets down there.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
So I'll get back to you, Randy, after I talk to Jen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think that it applies necessarily to our group here, but as we go into next year, let's try to make life a little easier for Randy and try to pay our dues within a few weeks of your receiving the invoice. Looking at this crowd, I would say that that's probably not an issue. But for the record, let's make sure we pay the dues on time, and dues hopefully before long will be going back up because we'll be paying for meals before we know it. Bill, do you want to make any comment about the fiscal year end vis-a-vis Rotary Foundation?
Well, in absence of Paul, if you have not paid your last quarterly dues, which includes your contribution to the Rotary Foundation, please get that in, because Paul it has to be postmarked by the 30th of June to count for this fiscal year. And Paul probably likes to try to get it a couple of days early. So he would probably need that probably by the 26th of June. So, but we have exceeded our goal. Thanks to those people that contributed on Giving Tuesday. That kind of helped it out a lot. So, but we have exceeded our goal. Our goal was 5,300 for the general fund. And so we've exceeded that. So that's great. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you, Bill. And once again, if you're thinking about giving to the Rotary Foundation, let's make sure we get it in this fiscal year. Jackie and or Medi, Tammy isn't here, but I know you two have met, and would one of you wish to give an update on where you are with the basket?
Well, that's only me, right?
No, Mary's here.
Oh, Mary. Yes. We have developed a cover letter and put it on the Rotary's letterhead to be addressed to all of the merchants, thanks to Bill Strabb for a list of the merchants who are involved with Main Street. So we have their email address, and we're going to send them a cover letter and a list of the activities that the Rotary, charitable and financial support activities that the Rotary has been involved in, so that folks are made aware of what the Rotary Club of Cape Charles has been doing in the city and the county, both counties in some instances. I know we have gotten a few contributions. I believe that Tammy has gotten a basket for us to use. And Mary, if you remember anything, she sent us an email also saying that she had gotten a gift for it. And as you may or may well know, Medi has contributed 3 days during the middle of the week for her B&B. And little by little, gifts are coming in before we actually get our cover letter out, because even while we're doing that, we're making contact with businesses that may be known to the different members on the committee.
Jack, hold your letter up to the screen so we can see it. It's so nice. Put it up close.
Okay, this two, you can't really.
Yeah, I see it. Great.
Okay, that's the letter. Medi was kind enough to send me a copy of the Rotary Club's wheel so that we could include it in the letterhead. And it was a major task for me because she sent it via the Dropbox, and I don't have a Dropbox account, but Bill does, and he hadn't used it in so long, he didn't remember his password, and getting a new password was a chore. So we finally figured out a way to make it happen, but it took all this morning to get this one little letter prepared. And and a list of the activities that the club has been involved in from a charitable basis. So we're making good progress, and I particularly wanted to get as much done as I could because I'm going to be absent from Cape Charles for the months of July and August. But I can still help while I'm away in California.
Yeah, we have electronics for that. Well, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Mary.
So,
Yeah, Mary.
Tammy said, like, Tammy and we had a conversation. She said she would not be here and asked me to give just like a update, let everyone know that we still have like 2 months before we're gonna put the basket together. But right now we are like the basket, even if we have to put it together right now, we have more than enough. Like we did like so well. And there are 2 restaurant gift card, one from Maddie, one from me, and also the basket and also some other things. So Tammy said the basket is going great and we don't have to worry about it.
Great. Good job. Better have it done. And we're going to win this year, right?
Yeah.
Right? Mary, the answer is yes.
I thought everyone would say yes. But,
Okay, no, you guys are doing a great job on that. Diane.
Yes.
You want to give us an update on the
train
caboose
restoration?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an exciting story.
Yeah, I have some exciting news to share. The project had been put on pause by the museum last year because of the pandemic. And they reached out earlier this year, late March, early April, I don't recall which, but they reached out and said that they were ready to reactivate the project. So we're all excited about that. And at the same time, I did announce that I wanted to get the committee, reactivated and get some key decisions made so that everything would be ready to roll. And then I would be relinquishing my role as the chairperson for that committee, which I have done, and that was yesterday. So today's report is to tell you exactly where we are, which I think is very exciting, and to tell you who our new chairperson is. All right, so what we have been able to do since April, we have confirmed that we do have funds for the project from the Cape Charles Museum. So that was a huge step because we have been very concerned about that. We also have the framework in place for the work plan. We have made the decision to start on the outside so that we can stabilize the roof, number one, and just take care of the exterior before we start the work on the inside. So the roof is the very first task that's going to be done. We've identified the initial skill set, and we've got every one of those skills lined up or in the works. The welding, we don't have that confirmed yet, but everything else we do have lined up and in the works. We have got our first list, our shopping list for the supplies, equipment, and materials that we will need. And this morning, we got the go-ahead from Mike Ash, our contact person on the board. He has approved our supply list with everything that we're going to need. And so we're ready to roll. We're ready to start that project. And weather permitting, we do need a certain number of days with no rain in order to do that. Excuse me. And so I want to share with you who is stepping in to the role of chairperson for this committee, because I'm pretty excited about it. It's a person with an amazing background in working with trains, and that is Chuck. He is going to take over that role, and he is a train enthusiast from forever. I think he could talk for hours about trains, and he's just fascinating to hear. And so I'm going to stop talking because I'm sure he has a comment or two he'd like to make, about moving forward with the project. He's the one that pointed out we got to watch the weather in order to get
Chuck,
started.
if I may, I'd like to thank Diane first before you share your perspective. Diane, you did a super job on this. You are one of the better project managers on the team here, and you stick to it. You've demonstrated that not only on the train project, but on the Invisible History project and probably another couple I just can't remember. And I apologize for that, but thank you so much for what you've done. And I know you're not going away, and we'll find something else for you. So
Yes, well,
Chuck,
thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Bill. I do appreciate that.
Chuck, you're the man.
Yeah, Diane said I stepped in. Maybe I prefer to call it stepped in it. We got a good team of people so far. I'm really looking forward to Dennis Livy contributing. We're going to minimize the amount of people up on the roof. So it'll be Larry, Lamond, and myself working up on the roof. And of course, we got to sand it all down, prime it, and then paint it. And as Diane mentioned, we need probably at least 2 to 3 days with each step of that for drying time and so forth. Part of the materials list is a rather large tarpaulin so we can cover up the work area. Obviously, we don't want to get everything down to bare metal and then have a rainstorm come in and start rusting up the top. We're going to need help along the way. I'm not looking, I would love to have some solid volunteers that are there every session, but if we can have some help here and there, it's really going to help, especially when we're finished with the roof. I'm expecting the roof to be done, not successively unless we have all these good days in a row, probably 3 days for each section. And I consider there's 3 sections. The centerpiece is the cupola. That'll be one section. And then one end is one section and the other end is one section. We're going to do those 3 separately so we don't have large areas exposed to the elements. Once we're done that, we'll start working down the sides. Of course, there's 4 sides. And that's where we're going to really look for some support and volunteers, not only from the membership, but your friends, families. Kids would be great. I think kids would have a good time helping us with the caboose because they can tell their friends, hey, I painted that, or I scraped some old paint off of that. I helped restore that caboose. And so I'm going to keep asking for volunteers. Even if you can make it one day, that'd be great. We can find things for you to do. But Larry and I will take care of the roof, and then we'll open it up to all the volunteers we can get to handle the sides and get her done.
Hey Chuck, you and Larry are, I wouldn't call you real seniors, but you're headed in that direction. One person you might invite to say no, but I think he'll say yes, is John Calder. John loves that sort of thing. He's, he's a little younger than you guys.
Everybody
is. And just, tell him what you're doing, or maybe we'll go over there and bother him one afternoon. What's the term of the project? When do you think you'll finish it?
Well, again, it's going to be weather dependent. I'm hoping if we get started right now, the paint is going to be 3 to 4 days to wait for it to get on site and then for us to do the work. So I'm hoping we can get started by the end of the month and be done in by Labor Day, hopefully.
I was hoping there would be an opportunity to get some Interact kids involved.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But, you know, I don't see that happening until they return to school.
Have
what was it-
volunteer, my daughter.
Yeah, yeah. We can use all the help we can get, and kids, I think kids right now are bored to tears because they can't get outside or they've been locked up for so long. They'll almost beg to come out and help. Hopefully, I'm right on that.
Yeah, and this is when we want Jim Rich all over for pictures. And I think it's a story right away when we kick it off. This is one of the bigger projects we've ever taken on. Joan?
A lot of the seniors have to, and maybe even juniors in the high school, have to commit to community service hours.
Yes.
Jen always knows how to contact them. And that might be a great contact, at least to let them know that we're looking for teenagers or we're looking for volunteers. And that might satisfy some of their community service hours.
Yeah, even though the school is out, and I'll get, you know who, I'll get to Eddie Lawrence. Eddie Lawrence, the superintendent, is a member of our club. Joan, did you know that?
I did not.
And he can help us figure a way to maybe get some activity before September. That's
Bill,
a great idea.
Bill, that's a good idea on John too. And if you could send me his contact information, email address and phone number, if you know it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
When you talk to him, feel free to give him my contact information.
What I'll do is I'll reintroduce you guys electronically.
Okay.
With an email. And then we just ought to walk over to his house and maybe say hi to Al.
Okay.
Al lives next door to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Joan.
Once you decide that you're going to be working on a specific day for whatever hours, could you let us know? Because even though, for example, I'm not about to go up and help you, but I certainly can bring over lemonade for you guys to drink or a sandwich at lunchtime, depending upon when and where you're doing the job.
And that's one of the volunteer positions we talked about that we're going to need. Not only that person could be there to monitor if anybody gets hurt or anything, could make an emergency call or whatever. Hopefully
911 on speed dial.
That's right. So yes, very definitely. I'll be looking at the 10-day forecast, and when we see those days in a row, you know, I'll put it out like hopefully 2 or 3 days in advance that we're going to be working these specific days. One more thing, when Diane mentioned this, when we get finished the exterior, we turn our attention to the interior. Larry and I totally agree. We are way out of our element on that. So we're definitely looking for volunteers to do some interior decorating of the caboose once we get done with the exterior. And ladies, open invitation for that, please. Volunteer for that. We'll paint the interior however you think is going to look good, and we leave it to your imagination to help us out to make it look nice on the inside.
You hear that, Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
I wanted to say to Chuck, Sela's dad has long since been dead. He used to say that a drop of my sweat would cure leprosy. So I'm not going to volunteer for anything like that. However, as Chuck knows, I may make an appearance as a Gandhi dancer, and only he knows what that is probably. So we'll leave that. You can look it up. I was a Gandhi dancer in my teens. So there you go.
Yeah, Gandhi dancer is a track worker. Fortunately for John, there's no more track there, so you don't have to worry about working with the track.
Yes. Okay. You got to get in uniform for that, John. You have those overalls with the stripes on them?
I probably do. Yep.
Okay. Well, look, Chuck, I think this is the significance of this is you're taking this on and you're president. So we are all obligated to make your presidency as easy as possible by cooperating and doing everything you ask us to do every minute you ask. And I'm going to give extra attention to, supporting you, Chuck, so that you can wear these two hats. It's no easy job. So thank you for stepping up.
You bet.
Oh, okay. Anything else in our project area? We've got a full plate. Yes, John.
Let me bring people up on the YMCA.
Yes, John, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. We had a meeting. I don't know what day it was now. Reggie was there.
It was last Friday.
Last Friday. Okay, if you say so, I'll agree with you.
I was on the road.
Reggie was there. Paul Strong was there. Bill Payne and Bill Murphy were on the phone. And we met a young man named Adam Carl, who is the COO of the YMCA, and he is 47. He looks like he's 30, so it might tell us all we need to go to the YMCA. He's an incredible young man. Anyway, the purpose of the meeting was to reorganize our fundraising, get our act together about what we're going to tell the public, and not in a bad way, just tell the same story. Let them know exactly what's going on, what the money be used for, how the BRIC program is going to work. And if you recall, several people will do different things, like Reggie will contact the merchants. And I'm sure his ears perked up when he heard that Bill has a good list of the merchants through the Main Street program and things like that. So sometime in early July, we'll have a program laid out. If you have any input about that or desire, let me know. The first push is going to be to try to get the Rotary Club itself to 100% participation. We're at 50%. We'd like to get to 100. That doesn't mean 100% at a level that we originally asked for, but I would like everybody to give something that's possible. So, and that's where Reggie mentioned. Reggie has as big and overpowering as he is a very soft guy. On the other hand, I have some friends from Baltimore. I think I mentioned to him, who'll come down and they do kneecap work if you don't pay up. So that's what that's what he was alluding to a while ago. So, anyways, it's all good. The Y is going great. And we're anxious to complete what we promised to do as a club to try to raise $100,000. And we just got started and we're at 30 and we haven't done anything beyond our own club so far. So I think that's certainly achievable. Yes, Joan.
All of this happened before I became a member. So
Okay.
could you just give me a quick synopsis of what it is we're committed to do?
Sure. When the original plan was laid out, they need to raise $4.7 million to build the Y. And Bruce Bradley and some others came to me and asked if the Rotary Club participate. And we said we thought over 5 years we could raise $100,000 from the club and people we were going to solicit. And that includes merchants, B&Bs, hotels, people who have rental houses, other clubs. There's a whole list of people. We've already divided up, but it's open to anybody who wants to participate and help us out. So the next thing is to say we'll lay out the program so everybody will understand and remember, or in your case, learn what we're doing, and you can see where you might participate in any of those activities. But there is a BRIC program that you see a lot of places. There will be bricks in the circle in front of the Y where there will be a flagpole, and that's where the bricks will go. We're still working on how to price the bricks. I spoke to Bruce Bradley again today, and Bruce, for those of you that don't know him, he's the guy who kicked it off with $1 million. And he got a couple of his friends to put up $1 million. So when we started, we had $3.5 million before we really turned to anything. But you would know these are pledges. Pledges don't mean money. Although Adam did say that it kind of surprised me. The shrinkage on pledges is only about 3%. So that's good. I mean, so what that means is if they need 4.7, they need 4.750 at least to cover the project. And there are other things that they're thinking about, which we'll have the right answer for. I don't want to get things stirred up, but obviously there's been discussion in the Wayback Machine about covering the pool. And now there's information about building a gym. There's already been an anonymous pledge for $500,000 to start the process on a gym. So there's a lot to talk about. And as Reggie knows, because he was there and he can add to this whatever he wants, we want to make sure we know what the deal is. And so when we as solicitors ask somebody for money, we all tell the same story and we're not giving them bad information. So that's where we are.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
John, is there any limit on the number of members, the Y, or does it have a goal for membership?
I don't think there's any limit, and that's a good thing. I'm glad you asked that. This was a really piece of good news for those of you that attended the opening, which was on Memorial Weekend. It rained, it was nasty. there were probably 100 people, maybe more than 100 people. At that moment, they had 178 members. As of last Friday, they have 300.
Oh, boy.
So they've gained that many members in 10 days, which is incredible. So obviously there's not a limit. I mean, right now, as you know, they're not open Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I think what would happen, obviously, if they got 500 members or 600 members, whatever it might be, they would probably open, I'm sure they would open more hours, to accommodate, that wouldn't be so crowded up. But there's a lot of good programs. I've attended some of the workout programs in the morning, and they're well attended by a lot of people. Many of you would know. So it's really going well.
Well, John, again, on behalf of the club, we thank you for your leadership here and being the face of Rotary to the YMCA community. You've done an extraordinary job, in my judgment, and can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you. A lot to be done yet. And like I said, I hope we use the Reggie method and not the Baltimore method, so that we finish this up. I'd hate to leave a legacy of having to appear in court when my wife's a judge. That wouldn't be good, saying that you got a attack on certain members who wouldn't cough up their money. Anyway, all good.
Okay, well, things, we got a lot of work done here about running, we're coming up in the hour. Just a few reminders. We talked about 4th of July. Once again, August 17th, 6 o'clock in Central Park, social. Debbie Wall, our district governor-elect, is meeting with us and the other two clubs on August 24th, 5 o'clock for cocktails. And with that, I would ask Diane to happy dollars. So, oh boy, Chuck's happy already. He out of the gate.
Yeah.
Chuck, why are you so happy?
Well, it's sort of a mixture of happy, some serendipity, and remembrance. Kind of a funny story. I have a third cousin in Towson, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore, who's also a genealogist, and we communicate regularly from the Huber line. And I was doing some work, genealogy, and I came across a lady named Doris Huber, and she was born in 1919, and I was looking to add her into my tree. She's my third cousin once removed, and I was looking for a date of death. I had a date of birth, and lo and behold, I couldn't find one. So I said, let me check the white pages. Lo and behold, I found her name in the white pages. So she was still living. She'd be 102 years old.
Wow.
So I found out she lived in Towson. I had a Towson address, and I contacted my third cousin, Mel Roche. And I said, hey, Mel, would you be interested in hunting down Doris Huber Stafford was her married name. She lives at this address. And she came back and she said, that's only a mile from my house. And lo and behold, she contacted the place, and it's actually a long-term care facility. Unfortunately, she found out she had just been taken to the hospital.
Oh boy.
And she stayed in touch. What we were hoping to do, she'd go over there and meet with her and take her laptop and Zoom me in, because we were really interested in talking with her. Neither one of us knew her personally. And we were really hoping to talk to her, 102 years old, and just hear her talk about the family. She's one generation earlier than both of us. Unfortunately, we got word that she passed away on June 9th.
Oh.
So we never got a chance to talk to her. I really wish we had, and had been able to record the conversation with her. So I want to put $10 up in remembrance of Doris Huber Stafford.
Great.
Thank you, Chuck. Anybody else? Yeah, Alan?
There. Let's see. Okay, I'm unmuted now. I just wanted to put in $5 because right now we have visiting with us our daughter-in-law, my her daughter, our granddaughter, and 3 great-grandchildren here. So we have a full house, and they'll be here till Thursday, and we're having a good and noisy time. Right now, they're so things are quieted down a bit, but we're having a great time.
That's great, Alan. Enjoy. Anybody else? Yeah, John.
I've missed a few meetings. I've got some really happy stuff from my point of view. You may recall my oldest grandson is a baseball prodigy. Well, he turns 18 tomorrow. He'll be a senior in high school. So that's $10. He's also made the All-State team in South Carolina, where he's rated as the #1 shortstop. And his team, which is in Columbia, called AC4, won the 3A state championship. They won the last 2 games 10-0. They won the total series. They were like 85-8 against their opponents in the tournament. It just killed them. So all that for Jack, and he's my retirement fund if he gets into pro baseball. But I don't know. He has a chance. Then next week, that's my oldest daughter. My second daughter, who lives near Atlanta, is coming to visit with her son and her husband, and he's going to do a sailing camp here in Cape Charles. And they'll be here a week. So we're going to eat and drink and swim and do all the things people do when you got visitors. So 20 for that, so 50 altogether, because I won't be here probably for a couple of weeks.
50. You're betting on the come. I love you, John.
I know. Jack is worth 30. I tell Jack every time I do this, I'm putting money up on him, and he says, "Okay, Papa." And yes,
how fast is Jack's fastball?
He's a relief pitcher. He's really a shortstop. He does pitch though, but he throws in the low 90s. As a high schooler.
Oh, I thought he was a pitcher.
No, he is a relief pitcher, but his primary position is shortstop.
Ah.
And he bats left, and he's quite a good hitter. He's just all around. I mean, he's made a lot of. Last week, for whatever reason, the Padres were in Columbia, and he got to play with some of those guys at their field at the University of South Carolina, where he's pledged to play. So, he's got a lot of potential, and he's a good kid on top of everything else. So
that's a wonderful story. We'll have to keep track. And John, we want you to be safe on your fishing trip. I
plan to be. Some of the people you know will be on that. If you want me to take care of Coker, he's going to be on the boat. So
tell Coker I said that you should push him overboard.
Well, Coker's riding with me. We're meeting at 3:00 in the morning at the Welcome Center. So, I can take care of Coker if you want.
Okay.
Don't forget that saying from the movie Jaws. I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
I hope we do. Thanks.
Okay, I'm waiting for Jackie to speak up, but since she's, she'll think about it. Bill Stram is stepping up.
So I have $5. This Saturday, I will be departing to go to Radford University to be a counselor at Boys State, my annual trek. We didn't have it last year. So there will be, we had to cut the number of boys attending in half per Radford University.
Yeah.
So we only have 8 cities instead of the 16, but there are 2 boys going from Broadwater, one being sponsored by the Rotary Club. That's Mark Outland. So anyway, it's going to be a fun time and looking forward to it.
Bill, how many years have you done this?
10 years.
10 years. I tell you,
That's nice.
our Rotary Club gives so many ways. We do our Rotary thing, but every one of you do other stuff too. And I think we ought to remember that.
So you asked me earlier, or we can do it after this about Main Street, and I can do that.
Oh yeah, well, let's do it afterwards.
Okay.
Because I did promise,
Right.
but we'll go out on a bang. Okay, Bill? Okay, Jackie, with your big smile there. Now, okay, I'm going to be happy for both Jackie and myself to the tune of $20 because we had a fabulous 4-day weekend in New York and going to New York. Half of the fun was stopping on the road to have a YMCA meeting on Friday with John. But then we finally got to New York. We spent most of the time in Brooklyn, where Jackie's son, who's a big time Hollywood director, was working for a month, and he and his wife, we had tremendous dinners. We toured Manhattan a bit. We had brunch in Manhattan at a restaurant I would never have known about, but these are classy young people. Then we got up early Monday, and I went to Kat's restaurant, if you're familiar with that, and ate an entire pastrami sandwich all by myself in less than 10 minutes.
Oh, my.
And then we on the way back, of course, we loaded up with liquor in Delaware and came home. So Jackie and I are both happy to the tune of $20, 10 apiece. Put 10 on her bill. Who's keeping track of this? Randy?
I am.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, if you haven't named the beneficiaries in your will after that sandwich, you might want to include the Rotary and the YMCA. I'll help you out with that. So.
Hey, let me tell you, I drank a gallon of water. I had so much sodium in me for the next, halfway back to Virginia. Any more happy dollars? Al.
Yeah, I have 10. 5 for Laurie finishing another school year at Accohonic Elementary School, and 5 because we were fortunate enough to be able to visit some friends we hadn't seen in a long time. So that's it.
Did you go see them, or did they come see you?
No, we went down to North Carolina to see them.
Oh, good for you and Lori. That was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Reggie, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I think I missed this last week, but my wife and I did a day trip. Perhaps I did mention it to North Carolina to visit our granddaughter, family, and great grandchildren. And that was the first time we had been together since COVID, and we were all together in their home, and we had a great time there. So I'm going to give $10 for that, just in case I did not. Just in case I did not do that already. I don't remember.
Yeah, you did. You did, but that's okay doing it twice. You're that happy.
Is anybody recognizing, as you're out and about in the communities now, since COVID is kind of winding down, that people are smiling a lot more?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of really feeling a lot better about things in total?
Well, you can see their smile now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So are you happy about, is that a comment you're making to be happy again, Chuck? Or
Oh, I'll add another 5. We'll call it $15 now.
There you go. That's a spirit.
I will tell you, on the smiling business, Yosila's the judge in JNDR court, and they're all masked up. And a lot of things that happen in front of her are really sad. Some are just unspeakably funny, but you can't laugh. So she's been concerned with the mask off, how she maintains a straight face. Some of the stories she hears, and they're incredible. I'll share some sometime, but they're just out of this world, as you might expect. When you get domestic situations, you can't imagine. Well, you can. You know some of these stories, and they're just incredible. So the mask helped her. She didn't have to show what was going on.
Tell her the secret is sucking on a lemon. Okay, well, that wraps up happy hours. I think we had pretty good happy dollars. So now, because we want to give special attention to Bill Stram and Third Thursdays, Bill, will you tell us what that's all about?
Okay, so real quick, Cape Charles Main Street is doing Third Thursdays. Starts this Thursday and will continue through September. Everyone has the time frame is 5 to 9. Down at the Love Sign, there's live music, and then there's food trucks, and there's wine, beer, and spirits. The spirits this time is the slushy machine from the distillery. So come out, have some fun, and meet your fellow Cape Charles residents and have a good time.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. You'll see me there. Jackie, will you be there?
Yes, Bill.
Jackie's going to be there too. So,
I gotta get a slush.
oh, there. Yeah. You said the right word, slush. So
Remember
be
your
there.
ID. Remember your ID. You're going to be carded.
Oh, yeah. I'll have it stamped on my forehead.
So what's the saying? Be there or be a square or something like that. Okay, for John's benefit, Carla Burton will be our speaker next week, and Carla is the director of the Eastern Shore Public Library, so we'll be able to tell her how well we're doing with the basket and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it. So unless anybody has anything else, Diane, we're going to wrap up a few minutes early. With regard to what we think, say, and do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And since Stanley isn't here, Mary?
Will we have fun?
There you go, Mary.
That's it.
See you next week, folks.
Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.
All right.